Stay with me. What if the most powerful guardian of ancient knowledge was a shy, gentle dragon hiding in an old library, and tonight, for the first time, it lets you in on its biggest secret? Watch until the end, and you'll discover who this dragon really is, what forgotten legends it protects, and the one rule you must never break if you ever enter its library. Picture this: a rainy evening, you're looking for a quiet place, you push an old wooden door, and instead of a librarian, you're greeted by a dragon the size of a bus, whispering you to keep quiet. This dragon isn't a monster. It's the last guardian of stories too powerful to be forgotten and too dangerous to be shouted out loud. Want to know what happens if one of these stories escapes? Long ago, when kings burned books they feared, sages begged the dragons for help. One gentle dragon accepted. It carried thousands of scrolls and hid them deep inside a silent stone library. Unlike its fierce cousins, this dragon loved reading more than hoarding gold. It traded treasure for tales, gems for grammar, and armor for dusty, crumbling pages. Every night, it walks between the shelves, checking each book like a shepherd counting stars. If a single page goes missing, the dragon feels it, like a heartbeat skipping. You might ask, if it's so gentle, why does the world still tell scary dragon stories? Simple. Humans forgot the kind ones and remembered only the smoke and claws. In this library, the dragon keeps not just books, but myths about heroes who failed, gods who doubted, and monsters who wanted to be forgiven. Stories that make us question simple good versus evil. The first rule of this place: speak softly. A loud voice can wake a sleeping legend, and in this library, legends dream just under the surface of every page. The second rule: never tear a page. Here, every page is a doorway. Rip it and you might trap part of a story outside where it doesn't belong. The third rule is the most mysterious. If the dragon ever falls asleep while reading, do not wake it, because when it dreams, the whole library shifts. When the dragon dreams, staircases loop in circles, doors appear where windows were, and hidden sections open. Shelves of myths that even other dragons swore never to read. Some nights, it chooses a visitor, maybe someone lost, maybe someone curious like you, and guides them to a single book that can change how they see themselves. Imagine you're that visitor. The dragon tilts its head, studies your face, and with a slow nod points to a dusty volume hidden behind darker tomes. Inside, you don't read about warriors and crowns. You read about someone small, afraid, who learns to guard something precious without ever lifting a sword. The dragon watches as your eyes move over each line. It knows these stories work like mirrors. The more you look, the more you see a different version of yourself. But here's the twist. The dragon is not just guarding the books, it's guarding you from the books. Some legends inside are too heavy for a single mind to carry alone. There are prophecies that can drive entire kingdoms to madness, spells that rewrite memories, and songs that make people forget why they ever hated. The dragon decides who's ready. You might wonder, who chose the dragon? In some versions of the myth, it was the library itself, an ancient living place that grew tired of being burned and betrayed. In other tales, the dragon was once a scholar who read so much, their body changed to match their love of knowledge. Scales like bookmarks, eyes like lanterns. Whichever version you believe, one detail never changes. The dragon never leaves. If it flies too far, the oldest stories start to fade like chalk in rain. Sometimes storm winds rattle the windows and distant thunder growls. Outside, people fear what they don't understand. Inside, the dragon turns another page, calm and patient. Why should this myth matter to us today? Because every time we judge something by fear alone, we risk locking away the very knowledge that could help us grow. Think of the gentle dragon as a question. What parts of your own story are you guarding? Which memories, which ideas, which dreams do you hide because others might not understand? Near the deepest shelves, there's said to be a book that writes itself as you live. Each choice, each fear faced, appears there as a new chapter, and the dragon checks it daily. When you finally leave the library, the dragon walks you back to the door, its footsteps silent. It doesn't ask you to remember every tale, only to treat your own story more gently. As the door closes, you glimpse the dragon curling up again among the shelves, ready to wait centuries if needed, guarding forgotten myths until someone else dares to knock. So what if the kindest dragons aren't in the sky, but in the quiet corners of our lives, guarding the stories we've been too scared to read about ourselves?